IoT is already for many years a technology driver. Many companies work on software and hardware solutions to connect all things, from coffee machines to cars. It is not just the technology that is making waves. IoT is inspiring students and makers to start experimenting and come up with new solutions and applications. And there is a growing interest from governments and the industry on what the impact of IoT might be. April 9 is promoted as the IoT Day, and we talk with Rob van Kranenburg, and he is founder of the IoT Council. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning.
April 9, what is going to happen?
Well, people feel sort of a lot of things that are moving, and we see all the gadgets, we see the smartphones, we see all the connected things in our homes, we see the connected car, there's a lot of information about it, but there's not a real story out there. And if there's a story, it's in between two sort of main drivers. On the one hand, it's like, let's say, the transhumanists, the people that love this technology, that all want to become, let's say, robots, and sort of they want to embrace the machine. And on the other hand, we have a lot of worry and fear about privacy, loss of security, loss of our human connectedness. And there's nothing in between. Okay. And so I set up council to sort of fill this void, this gap, to be this kind of in between, to look at this in a realistic, positive way. Because I think there's a lot of logical and very good things in this Internet of Things operation, which is also not very new in a sense, because we know it for about 50 years. It's ambient intelligence and sort of all these things. And then a year later, I thought we need a day. Sort of, we need a kind of a moment where everybody can sort of come together and do whatever they want to do.
Yep.
And so we thought of the April 9 as the Internet of Things Day. And we are now in our 9th year.
Ninth year already, yep.
So we have a site, IoTDay.org. You can go there and submit your event. And that's it. So ideally, the IoT Day is about people coming together in a city, in a bar, talking about IoT. That's it.
Okay.
Or if you're a group of experts working in a company, go take another company for lunch. That's it. Basically, just have breakfast, have a beer.
And that is happening. It is the 9th edition, you're saying. Yes. What has been the outcome? Is it something which is picked up by a lot of people, or?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, on the day itself is like social media crazy, because then the big boys are also picking it up. So the IBMs and the Schneiders and the Microsofts and the Googles and sort of they're all on it on the day itself. And but more important, basically, than that is the fact that that last year we had sort of like something over 50 events, and sort of people coming together in about 50 cities. Now we got about 40, which is absolutely brilliant. So we got people in Caracas, Madrid, Copenhagen, Moscow. I mean, where you can think of all these places. And basically, so the idea is to have a conversation about this. So things are going extremely fast. And this has good things and bad things. So the good things is everybody sees the drivers now.
Yeah.
So this Internet of Things at the back end of these operations only 20, 30 years ago were only in the hands of a few labs and extremely resourceful companies. Mm-hmm. Now we see things like the Things Network, and bringing out gateways for a few thousand euros, covering ranges of cities with a low power, long range network. Mm-hmm. The costs of hardware have come down drastically. It's also due to Arduino and Raspberry Pi. Yeah. And these were all coming from designers. Yeah. And educational. Raspberry Pi comes from an educational project. Yeah. And Arduino comes from designers at Ivrea Design School. And so there's a middle growing between the big, like say the 400,000 companies, putting the huge turbines and the hardware, and the maker community that is now also not only just sort of fixing their own homes, but actually building sort of solutions for the street, building solutions for regional, coming together on really big processing boards like ARM and Intel, working with these big companies. So it's a middle that's growing. In the middle, there's a lot of agency. That agency also has got a lot to do with the decentralization that we see.
Yeah.
So this also has to do with the blockchain, which is a particular type of bookkeeping, as you want, is a particular type of ledger. So you build a network where every action then also gets traced and traceable by every node in the network, which means that it's very difficult to tamper with information or to remove it. So this is now underpinning a lot of new projects. They're not going to the market trying to get venture capital, but they're doing ICOs. They're trying to raise money with the crypto, Bitcoin, and sort of all these things. And so, for example, in Ghent, my own meetup that I run in Ghent, the Things meetup, we have a session on IoT and crypto and the blockchain so all of these things are happening. And like I said, this is no longer the game of only, let's just say, governments or institutions or big companies.
Yeah.
It's our game. It's us, it's citizens.
Yeah, everyone is capable of joining in this hardware development and do their own development as well.
If you go on Twitter and find the hashtag IoTDay, I think you already see a lot of action, which will build up this week.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time and for an explanation. I hope to check back with you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.